than 5. So if you're testing a range and you want to include 5 as well, you can use greater than or equal to. So if it's equal to, obviously equal to or greater than, like it says.
Very nice.
So I will save. And yes, in this case, it's equal to, so it's true. Or if we set var to, say, 6, now it's not equal to, but it's greater than, but it's still true. So now you have a whole, like, infinitely many numbers that could possibly make this evaluate to true. Anything greater than or equal to 5.
Excellent. All right, so what are some other ones? I mean, obviously, we've got the equality test double equals. We've got greater than or equal to. We've got less than and less than equal to. Do we have anything else that's kind of fancy?
Well, we can see if it's not equal to. If we only wanted to evaluate to true if it's not equal to a certain number, and that operator is exclamation point equals. So
not equals.
So var is not equal to 5, which in this case it's equal to 6, so that should evaluate to true.
And that's what we've got. So go ahead and change var real quick over to 5. And so now 5, it's saying, is 5 not equal to 5? Well,
then no, it's not. So
because they're equal, just in case you don't know. Okay, so what else can we show them before we move on into some more fancy stuff? How about Boolean operations?
Okay, so you want to test just...
well, first of all, people are probably going, what is a Boolean operation? It's too fancy of words. Well, what if you want to test two things at once? In other words, two things or three things or even more one needs to be true and one needs to be false, or two different conditions need to be true at the same time.
Okay, so we want to make, let's make another variable, and then we'll just set it to where they have to match. So
excellent.
$var2 equals 8, and of course you could use like a string expression as well. So and test that. So we're saying, so if var does not equal 5, so we want to increase this to where it incorporates var2. You can simply use the two pipe symbol for that's for and, or you can actually use the word and.
Wait a minute, okay, just so that people don't get confused, because you just about had me for a second. You throw the two pipe symbols, then you said or, then you said and.
Yeah, that's...
So the and would actually be
the and would be two ampersands.
There you go.
So if we wanted to do this like as if it was C, so this represents or, so or $var or just var1
or.
Why do I keep saying that? And
yeah, the two ampersands.
Let's just use or a lot lately. so and.
Sorry, I'm getting var thrown off here.
Equals 8. And again, I'm using a string expression here, so I'm putting quotes around just to show that. I mean, you can test equality on anything.
So in this case right here, he's saying if var is not equal to what's 5, is not equal to 5, and if var2 is equal to 8,
then it'll be true. Which in this case
is false.
Is not,
because the very first one
is not equal to.
Yep.
So let's make var 4.
And that's definitely not equal to that, so that'll evaluate to true. The other one will evaluate to true, and you get var is true.
So we're testing multiple cases. So var has to be something other than 5, and var2 has to be 8.
Here's another quick example that I'll have Logan set up real quick that may help some of you guys see this a little bit quicker. This is great if you want to test ranges. In other words, let's say we want to make sure that var is greater than 10 but less than 20.
So say var is greater than 10. This time I won't even use var2. And be checking, say, var less than number 20.
Absolutely. So there you've done a little setup that kind of tests a range for you.
So we'll try that. Of course, right now it's 4, so obviously that would be outside the range, false. If we make it to 16, and that's between 10 and 20, so of course that evaluates to true. But then once you get above 20, say 22,
or even 20 actually,
back to false, or even 20.
Yeah, because we didn't use the less than or equal to.
So if you want it to be inclusive, you could do greater than or equal to, or less than and equal to. In that case, it would allow
between
10 or
10
20.
And 20. Yeah, absolutely, including 10 and 20. All right, very nice. So let's see. What else can we kind of throw at them? Well, that right there is the and. That means that both of those conditions have to evaluate to true for the entire if statement to be considered true. Now, we also, as Logan said a second ago, you could also type the word and in there as well. Go ahead and do it, Logan, just so they've seen it.
So, and
There you go. Woo, real fancy.
Save it. Obviously, it works.
And it still works fine. Now, we have the ability also to do OR. So in other words, either or of the two conditions evaluate to true.
And that is the two-pipe symbol, or the word or. I'll do that in just a second. So if, let's say, let me go back to using the equal, so we just test for two numbers. So if var is equal to 10 or var is equal to 20.
Okay.
So let's set this to say 10. Try it out. It's true. It's equal to 10. Or let's try 15. That's not equal to either of them, so that's false.
Mm-hmm.
Then set it to 20. And
true again. Very nice. All right, so let's see.
Again, the word or, same thing.
Absolutely. So now, what do you want to show them now? We can take the testing just a little bit further if you'd like.
Okay. So what if you had, let's say, I don't know, do you want to test just for a variable to exist, or maybe some more advanced if blocking?
I'll leave it up to you. They're also, I guess you may want to go ahead before we get too far away and throw the else if at them too.
Okay. So if we wanted something to happen, or in a different case, like here we did, we're testing if it's 10 or 20. But either way, you can't tell if, through just what the browser said, you can't tell if it was 10 or 20, it just says it was true. What if you wanted to do something different for 20? And in order to do that, or one way to do that, would be to use else if. And else if has the opening and closing parentheses because you're testing for another condition. So I'm going to take this out, or let's see. Yeah, I'm going to just move this around. I'm going to take the or out from here, and I'm going to take and cut the second test out. And let's say I'll open a curly bracer so it's keeping the same as everything else, and grab this line real quick. So, say var was 10, var was 20. So if it's equal to 10, say so. If it's equal to otherwise, if it's equal to 20, say so. Otherwise, just say it was false. So let me save that out and test. Var was 20, and of course 10 will hit the first one. Var was 10, and something else. Var was false. Neither of them.
Okay, cool. And another thing, of course, that you can do is you can also embed if statements as well.
So do another if inside
Absolutely. So you could echo out one thing, and then you could turn right around and
check another.
And check something else.
So I can go in here inside the curly brace to the first if. I can